Watching Prime Morning, it's time for us to delve into what the newspapers have. My guest, one is here. The others are on their way. They'll definitely be here very soon. So let me introduce my guest we seated right now, Honorable Henry Nartey, who is representing the NPP this morning. Good morning, Honorable.
Good morning, Roselyn.
You look fantastic.
Same to you.
Thank you so much.
You're also looking like my village queen mother.
I know, right? Thank you so much. And actually, it's probably put together by National Theatre.
Wow.
So, yes,
National Theatre.
Yes, they actually dressed up.
They still exist?
They do,
Oh,
and they are
really?
doing fantastic.
Oh, really?
You should be there. I was there over the weekend. They've changed their carpets. They've started a renovation. So it's
That's the
going
most
well.
important. That's one thing that we don't do in this country. Our maintenance culture is very bad.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the time that it was built and the current state of it, if we have been doing renovation, at least 2-3 years, I can tell you the state of it will change. Now we have only the conference center, the National Theatre for a bigger event. So they need to do a proper renovation exercise there, which can bring a lot of revenue to them too as well.
Right.
When you get to their car park and sometimes you go to their washrooms and all those things, I think that there's a lot of work to do. I pray that the new Minister for Tourism will see to it that things are done properly for them.
Right. Anyway, we have our second guest seated also for the conversation representing the NDC this morning. It's lawyer Philemon Laar. And I have to tell him that where he's seated, when Mornarh comes, Mornarh will fight him. But good morning, Philemon.
As a peace-loving pacifist, I will not challenge my senior Mornarh. So I'm going to relocate.
You better do.
Philemon, you look fantastic, though, I must tell you this morning.
Thank
You look very nice.
What you must realize is that those who are humble enough to acknowledge other people's supposed greatness are those that are in themselves great. So thank you for telling me how good I look, but I think you look way greater.
Thank you.
Thank you. You define the royalty of the Ghanaian woman.
Thank
See how
you.
flamboyant you are.
I know, right?
How
Yay.
sterling you are. How pretty you look.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Where do
Thank
you come
so
from?
much. I'm an Izuma.
Yeah, if you don't take it, by the time we close, your chiefs are here.
I
They
know,
are
right?
going to take it.
They're going to take it to make me a queen mother. Anyway, let's quickly delve into what the newspapers have for us, and as we wait for Bernard Mornarh to join us. So I'll start with the Daily Graphic newspaper. The Daily Graphic: excellent grades not enough, acquire skills. President advises youth. Election 2024. EC releases calendar, and you need to get the newspaper to get the calendar, because if you have relocated or you need to get your card, please get this calendar and get to know when you're supposed to do it. We see some dates in here. There's some September 23rd, 2024. There are other dates as well. So please and please again, get the newspaper and get all the dates. Experts issue 2024 weather forecast, and over the weekend we had some showers. I don't know if we're going to have heavy rains, but so far we started experiencing some showers and the heat has gone down a little bit, but it's still there. It's not gone yet. National District Awards, COCMA, Best Performing Assembly. Okay. I'll do the new Finder newspaper. Muslims show the way, presents 14-point demands to flag bearers. Dr. Baumia commissions University of Ghana Sports Stadium, rugby field, and I must say that place is really, really beautiful. Defense Ministry inaugurates $1 million military facility to protect Hui Dam. And that'll be all for the new Finder newspaper. I'll do the Ghanaian publisher next. The Ghanaian publisher: game schedule, medals broadcast as we prepare for the African Games. And some of us are really geared for that. Although we are not sports journalists, trust us that we will be there to make sure we bring you every detail with regards to the African Games. NPP polls, Equiapim South MCE suffers humiliating defeat. 13th African Games, Baumia commissions 10,000-seater Legon Stadium. Asensu Boache hits ground running, meets Japanese ambassador over road project. And Doma East DCE rally support for MP, denies a rift between them. That'll be all for the Ghanaian publisher newspaper. The Custodian newspaper is the next newspaper I'm reading. The Custodian: Erica Piedu defeats Equiapim South MCE. Ayoko Boche deepens Ghana's ties with Caribbean State. AG clears doubt on 10 trillion Ghana cedis saved in judgment debts. Hey, wow. I haven't heard trillion in God knows how long. Anyway, Bawumia opens the Lagos Sports Stadium and 13th African Games event disciplines and medals. And you get all the details if you are very interested in the All African Games. Me, I'm very interested, so I'll make sure I read every detail. Daily Guide newspaper, Nana Honest BEC scholars. NDC uses dumps Voltarian, says Kofi Akpalu. Kokma receives Best MMDA Award. Dressmakers hail Samira, and this is one of the topics that we'll be discussing today. Manso Tonto Chrome clash leaves 3 dead. I think it's to do with some mining activities, and we don't wish to hear anything like this because we know that Galamsey is being fought. So how is it that we are still hearing lives being lost over Galamsey? Anyway, I think we'll do some entertainment. Samira extends support to KK Kabobo. Nollywood mourns Mr. Ibu. We know Mr. Ibu passed over the weekend, and at this point, we say we pray with the family. Oboy Siki celebrate birthday at cemetery. I wish I had not read that because for me, that is not newsworthy. I'm sorry. And Bernard Mornarh has joined us. Good morning, Bernard. Oh, wow.
Sweet morning.
You look so nice.
I am a royal.
You are a royal. And today you are really representing it.
The man to my left wanted to take away the nodding touch from me. So when I spied him from me, I had to run back to the car. To let him know that I'm a royal, I'm a chief, and I come from a big royal home.
You understand the reason why I dress like my boss?
Yes, I understand now. Now I understand.
No, he didn't look at me before dressing. He dressed so as to compel me to go back and dress.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, let's talk about, some of the factories that were created under Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. We want to hear your voices this morning, sending your messages to us. We are actually going to treat 3 of the, factories, and then we delve into other conversations. Like I said earlier, we'll delve into the empty plate conversation, which is to do with the school feeding program, and then we'll delve into where we know that the second lady has helped dressmakers as well. But there's a video, actually, of these factories that have been in existence since Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's era. Where are they now? What's the state of these industries today? What could happen if these industries were to be alive? How many people would they have employed if they were really operating? We want you to take a look at the video, and then when we come back, we'll delve into the conversation.
Ghana's first president, Osajefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, constructed several factories to boost the country's manufacturing and export avenues. These factories include Akosombo Textiles Limited, the Yaboso Glass Factory, the Bunsu Tire Factory, the Jihawk Fiber Products Company, and the Wenchi Tomato Factory. In a bid to make Ghana attain a sustainable middle-income status and become self-sufficient, Dr. Nkrumah constructed factories to boost manufacturing and export avenues. However, these initiatives have been left to rot in many parts of the country. We shed light on some of these factories that could have boosted Ghana's economic status, but failed due to a lack of proper management, politics, and others. The Akosombo Textiles Limited, the textile manufacturer, was established by Cha Group in 1967. It was a major producer of real wask and African fancy prints. The Ghanaian-owned company was established to reduce the importation of foreign textiles into the country. The Yaboso Glass Factory, the once vibrant company, manufacturing and supplying bottles for the beverage industry. The company, first set up by Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, employed hundreds of people from Abosso, Takwa, and other neighboring communities, but was handed over to the Togolese opposition leader, Mr. Gilchrist Olympio, in the early 90s. Olympio subsequently changed the name of the factory to Tropical Glass Factory and resumed production. Though Olympio's administration managed to install heavy machinery at the factory to boost production, it could still not live up to expectation due to heavy indebtedness to its creditors. The company is said to owe the Electricity Company of Ghana several billion cedis for power consumed, compelling the latter to disconnect the power supply to the company and aggravate its plight. The company was put on the divestiture list in 2003. The Bunsu Tire Factory. The Bunsu Tire Factory is another one that has suffered a fate similar to that of Aboso Glass Factory. The company that used to manufacture the popular Firestone wheel tires has also collapsed, with the government showing no concern and strategically sited at Bunsu in Takwa, near the large rubber plantations where the requisite raw material could easily be tapped to feed the factory. The people of Takwa and Bunsu have also been agitating for the reopening of the company for years now, but nothing have come out of their protest. The Jihawk Fiber Products Company. The Jihawk Fiber Products Company was set up in 1962 by Dr. Kwame Nkrumah to manufacture the sacks to export cocoa beans and other agricultural products such as maize. It was also producing shopping bags and money sacks for the carriage of coins by the banks. As the only company manufacturing such products, the factory was one of the best in the country until it started facing difficulties in the mid-1980s. The company was later shut down in 1991. The Wenchi Tomato Factory. The Wenchi Tomato Factory was established under Dr. Kwame Nkrumah to help manage the wastage during the bumper tomato harvest. Unfortunately, the factory was shut down some years after Dr. Nkrumah was overthrown. The factory remained closed for many years, but was later sold to a private company, Afriquid Company Limited. The factory has since been left dormant.
I hope you enjoyed this documentary. It's quite eye-opening because you ask yourself that if in the 60s all these factories were created and today we don't have even 80% of these factories running, then what is wrong with our successive governments? Why is it that we don't seem to continue with what a government has started, but rather we neglect it when we come to power? What can be done about it? My guests are ready, but let's hear your voices as well. Send your messages to us. What you think can be done about it? Now, we are talking about, today we are going to delve into 3 of the factories. We wanted to do 2. Okay, we'll start with 2. If we have time, we'll delve into the others. But for now, let's do just 2 of them, which are very popular. Let's do the Bonsa Tire Factory, that is in the Western region, and we will have the Kumasi Shoe Factory as well. Now, we've been told that the Kumasi Shoe Factory is working under the One District, One Factory. How many shoes are they providing or producing? How many workers have been employed there? We talk about the Bonsa Tire Factory, which has been neglected. That one is dead, completely dead. Currently, we are importing tires, and this institution is just left to rot. Whereas we could have produced our own tires and we could have had more people working there to reduce the unemployment rate, especially even in the Western region where people feel that they've been neglected by the government. My guests are here and poised for the conversation. So I think I'll start this conversation with Bernard Mornarh since he's seated next to me. Bernard.
Yeah, the joy of sitting close to you
Yes.
certainly should give me the privilege. Good morning to Philemon, to Ebenezer, and to yourself. I've been out of Accra for a considerable time, apparently celebrating the Danjua Festival, moving to Sankana and attending the funeral of the Nyimbalina and a few others. And I want to say on record that Philemon did not come for the Danjua Festival.
Philemon.
Which is the biggest festival for Bimobes across the West Africa sub-region. And not only did he not attend, his contribution also failed to come. On behalf of the chiefs, I want to say, oh, why are you begging? I should not give the charge. I should not give the charge. Okay, we'll discuss your charge off air. We'll discuss your charge off air since you don't want me to say that publicly. Isn't Ghana a shameful country?
Is it?
Or aren't we a people without common sense?
Some people.
See, at the outset of our independence, Kwame Nkrumah knew very well, and he spoke eloquently and actually documented his thoughts, that we will be able to vamoose the colonialists. But we should be wary that they will come back in disguised forms through multinational and bilateral institutions, including what they call civil society organizations, and that they will sap away the gains that we have made at our independence. And that to be independent is not just politically to move away the white man from your country, but that you should take commanding control of the various sectors of your economy to be able to produce, to become self-reliant. That is the basis of our independence. And that in order to become self-reliant, you must be able to accommodate your population in employment, in incomes, and what have you. So outset, Kwame Nkrumah set out an agenda that will ensure that when you go or you apply yourself to some skills acquisition in education, as soon as you finish school, there should be some job opportunity somewhere for you to go and apply your skills.
Right.
So people like you who went to do journalism, there was an institution for you to come and apply your skills. You went to train journalism. They created the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation and what have you, so that your skills can be felt. The Ghana Journalists, what do we call it? No, not Ghana Journalists Association. The Ghana News Agency, the Evening News, the Daily Graphic, News Times Corporation. You can imagine what Kwame Nkrumah did so as to ensure that persons that are trained and proficient in their job, at least there were media outlets for you to be employed. Now, when you come to various sectors, Kwame Nkrumah knew that why, as a nation, we can't survive without ties. If we were not able to actually manufacture vehicles, but as for tie production, we have the raw material to be able to plant rubber and then convert the rubber into ties. At least some component of the vehicles must be manufactured wholly in our country. Kwame Nkrumah did this. Now, it's not only that. Kwame Nkrumah established the assembly plants, and I'm sure you know Neoplan. Just here. Go and see the kind of vehicles that were assembled in the days of old. Even if you go to STC now, you see that STC had training school where drivers are trained, mechanics are trained, engineers are trained, so that they will be able to apply because you are bringing vehicles and therefore you need people to update themselves. You have a training school for them. So in so doing, Kwame Nkrumah established the Bonsa tie factory. Said that if you go to the western region, for instance, the rubber plantations that you see, all of them now are being cut in place for what we call galamsey and what have you. Kwame Nkrumah established that so that we'll be able to produce ties. And Bonsa ties supplied majority of government institutions at the time with the requisite ties that they needed for all manner of vehicles. Today, every minutiae of a tie is imported into this country. In fact, we now import third-hand ties that are used, reused, and then now exported to us. We buy them, and we think that our vehicles will be roadworthy. That is what we are using today. Yet we have the raw material, we have established a factory to be able to produce these things. And we are not doing anything. And we go about importing second-hand into this country. Now, countries like Rwanda decided that they are not going to deal with second-hand or used material any longer. Of course, the United States was not happy because they are happy dumping they are used material to African
Africa.
countries. So when Rwanda said that, they said they were going to impose sanctions. Rwanda said, yes, you don't want to use second-hand and you want us to use second-hand. How come that it is impossible, right, that Kwame Nkrumah set out to revamp these things, in fact, to start up these things for us to be able to use? Just imagine government institutions alone, the MMDAs, the ministries, our parliament, and everywhere using Ghana ties. Do you know what it will mean to you? Today, we are priding ourselves, right? That today we are in Ghana month, and we are all beautifully dressed and handsomely dressed today. Why? Because there is dignity in what we have. How come that we are not able to produce our ties and say that, look, Bonsa ties from Ghana? And so we have jettisoned it, and we are pretending that we are doing one district, one factory. Now, I am ashamed that you mentioned that the Kumasi shoe factory is under the one district, one factory.
It is.
I have been directly involved in the fight for the revamping of the Kumasi shoe factory. Go and check your archives, your videos. I moved from Ghana. I went to Czech Republic even when I was sick with the Defense Industry Holdings led by General Tego. Then we have a private businessman called Robert Anum. He's just at the Osu Enclave. Then there was a Czech partner who is a Ghana, Dr. Kalai, who decided that they will bring Czech technology to come and revamp the Kumasi shoe factory. And it was now taken over by the Defense Industries Holding, DHOC. So I moved with them and went to Czech Republic, met Dr. Kalai, and we went to the factories that will support the revamping of the Kumasi shoe factory. We came back, this was under President Atta Mills. We came back and the shoe factory was revamped in the name of Knights. Go and check the records. So as far back as President Mills, the DHOC and the Knights partnership became operational. What I thought it would be used for is not what is being used
So
for.
what you're saying is that it's not today that it started.
It is not today. So for anyone to come and capture it under one district, one factory, it is for me. And I'm saying that I'm directly involved. You can check the records of the army.
Okay.
You can check the records at the Ministry of Trade. And of course, you can check the records at the Kumasi shoe factory. Well, nice, because when they were even going to inaugurate it,
So
I was one of the people.
2000, is that 2008?
That is 2008, 2009, 2010.
2009, okay.
I was involved in this. I was directly involved. And I'm saying that Dr. Kalai, who is the CEO of DITE, is around. You can ask Robert Anum, who is just here, just at the back of Papaya, at the back of Papaya. Robert Anum is alive, right? General Tego unfortunately passed on, but he was the leader. So I am surprised that all of a sudden this thing is captured. My disappointment and why I thought that, look, what I fought for is not what is being used for. At the time we're fighting, we were insisting, and that was my position to President Mills, that look, President Mills, instruct the Ghana Armed Forces and all the security agencies under the Ministry of Interior that all their boots and shoes should be taken directly from the Kumasi shoe factory as a first step. And then, whatever resources it requires, the state of Ghana should ensure that Knights and the DHOC, Defense Industries Holding, will be capable of producing the kind of shoes and boots that our security agencies need. That is the first start. Before you can think of supplying civilians.
Right.
Do you know how many boots security agencies use? If we're producing only that in this country, do you know how much foreign exchange we would have saved?
Yeah.
Do you know how much that will impact on the depreciation of our currency? And do you know how much positive it would have brought to our balance of payment?
So it's not being done?
It's not being done because we are still importing security boots in huge quantities. None is being taken from the Kumasi shoe factory. And I am disturbed that, look.
But they're producing shoes, aren't they?
Why? If you produce to sell in the market like any other person, and there's no direct target to ensure that, look,
you're making the revenue.
we are making the thing. And in any case, we have the rubber plantations. You augment it and so you can produce your shoe. You ensure that leather is produced. As Jerry Rollins would say, people have started eating more willy so that they
like the willy. Anyway, let me go to...
so that is my disappointment that this man, Kwame Nkrumah, could think that when these factories are there, unemployment will be lessened. Today, look at the volumes of young people that are unemployed, simply because we have jettisoned the state-run institutions, and you always tell us that the private sector is the engine of growth. Assuming you have a good engine and you don't have fuel, that engine can move, right?
Right. Anyway, let me tell you a little bit about the Bonsatai factory. It was established in 1963 as part of the import substitution program. Was to produce vehicle tires for the local automobile assembling industry and mines. Now, in the year 1980, we had Firestone Ties, that was a global brand, withdraw from the joint venture agreement and sold its 60% shares back to the government. And since then, 1980, that place has been left dormant. Honorable.
Roselyn, let me say good morning to our viewers and also to my senior brother and then Philemon. And also welcome him back to Accra. Unfortunately, we couldn't join him for the celebration.
There's another one in April 7th. Take note.
I've taken note, boss. But yesterday when Brenda sent me the topics, I tried my possible and maximum best to go through and check some of the factories that we have. To be honest with you, when she sent me, I was in Akosomo at that time. So I quickly passed Akosomo, Texas, to see things for myself. Unfortunately, it's a Saturday,
right.
So I was not able to enter, but I asked some few questions. And when I drove to Akosomo, through the Volta River Authority area, I just came into conclusion that, look, this country of ours, either we are jokers or we are not serious. Simply because we are blessed in so many ways, but we are not able to put what God has blessed us with in the right perspective and work with it. And so therefore, that is why we have a group of people that will call themselves unemployed graduates.
I mean, how?
All because we are not doing what we are supposed to do right. This is just a few of factories that was established by Kwame Nkrumah. But the question that we ask ourselves, if we have 5 of these factories that are not working now, assuming these 5 factories are working, and averagely we have about 2,000 or 3,000 people, we're talking about 15,000 people that are getting employment. I believe strongly that if these factories are working, we might be even able to even employ more than the 3,000 I am talking about. We talk about the glass factory. Most of the things that we use in our various homes, most of us use glass. Most of us use glass. We use the plates. We use the how do you call it? Glass for water. We use the louver blades. A whole lot of things. So you can see that if we have been putting much resources into these areas, we are going to produce a lot of things. And I can tell you, we might even get an additional things out of even the glasses that we are doing. So we might even divert from even the glass and add an additional thing to it that will give us more revenue in this country. And just as Bernard said, I have been to the Western region on several occasions. And when you get to Takwa area, up to where Summer Boy, those areas, majority of the people plant a lot of rubber in a large quantity, large acres of rubber plantation. And we get some of these raw material. I mean, you see, most of the things that we wanted to do, or all the factories that Nkrumah established, I can tell you, we get the raw materials in Ghana. You don't need to go to
like the tire factory.
You don't need to go to any country
to import.
You get the raw materials here. So what is that? What is the problem? Why can't we put some of these things in the right perspective.
Honourable, I think I'll pose that question to you because it's your government in power, and we were told in the year 2012 that when you come to power, you change a lot. You didn't get to come to power at that time, but you came to power in 2016, and this is when you kept on saying that, oh, you should have given me power in 2012. You didn't give it to me, but this time around, if you give it to me, I promise you, I'll give you the 1D, 1F. And so everybody thought that these companies or these factories were going to be revived under your government, but it hasn't been.
When you look into our manifesto, we touch on 2 areas of the One District, One Factory. 1, to establish factories. 2, is to also assess an existing factories to partner the private sector to revamp their various factories that they have. And that's exactly that government have done in some of the factories that they are working. But I also believe that we could have even done more than what we have done today. But you all understand that some of these things cannot just be done without resources. We need a lot of resources to enable government to revamp some of these.
What are the resources we are looking at? We are looking at these factories that were in existence. From your submission earlier, you said that we have the raw materials in Ghana. It means that what resources are we looking at?
Most of these factories that we have in existence have not been operating for so many years. I was just checking on the glass factory. You see the machines there. It's not in operation now. So meaning that if we are going in for revamping the factory, meaning that we have to change a lot of things at that place, which is going to cost a lot of money. So the point is that if we are able to target some few of them, put much resources there, revamp it, and making sure that the youth in that community or the youth in the country will get a lot of job to do. And it is something that I think that government need to look at it. And I'm not looking at only my government, but any government should look at it critically. Because look, it will get to a point that you won't even get a lot of people to even come and sit here for political discussion. Neither will you get even you to come and sit here to, host a program. Because the rate at which this world is advancing, a time will come that we will not get some of these opportunities. So one thing that we need to do is to establish and revamp some of these factories that are not in existence.
Do you think that your government should have revamped these factories instead of channeling their monies into some of these 1D, 1Fs that are not giving us many jobs as it's supposed to?
Like which one?
Like which one? There are some companies that, okay, so there was this coconut factory that we had. It was just close to...
There's supposed watermelon factory.
Yeah, there's a coconut factory. I used to buy coconut there, then COVID came in and it shut. Never opened again.
Coconut factory?
Yes. Never open again.
They say there's a watermelon
But none of them is owned by the state.
I'm just applying.
None of them is owned by the state. Some private.
So the question here, we look at even Casapreco. Look at the amount of money. Look at the amount of money that was pushed into Casapreco. This is somebody's company. This is not for the government. And so if we have such amount of money, can't we put it in one of these companies to revamp it or bring it back to life?
Government idea was not only government factories. We state clearly that our focus is also to support private companies.
Perfect.
Which Casapreco is a private company.
But I'm just looking at
what was the state of Georg when we took office? What was the state of Georg? But today, go to Georg. Georg, even in the extent, not even produce water in addition, apart from the alcoholic drink that they do. So there are some that have yielded a good resource. And yes, we all ask that the rest that have not been given an attention should be given an attention. Because we believe that, I personally believe that it will give us a lot of opportunity to the youth. Because look, the shoe factory that Bernard is talking about, if we have put much resources and we are making sure that, look, we are producing shoe for two groups of people, schools and the security agencies, we have a lot of money. Because look, most of the schools that we have in this country, they are being specified as kind of shoe sandals they have to wear. I think, I don't know if I'm not mistaken, I think that's how we get this Achimota sandals. Because straight from there, is given to the school. So if they produce the sandals, you give it to Accra Kadabe or all the secondary schools that we have. Government or parents will not go to the market and be buying shoes.
Is it greed?
And those who go to the market to buy shoes, where do they get it from?
Is it
Because
greed that has gotten us to where we are? Because you see,
is it what?
Greed. Because it looks like some people get some sort of interest when it's being sold for the private sector. Example, you're talking about the shoes.
Yes.
It's somebody's contract. It is not the government's contract. So if we are looking at,
It's
you know, the
somebody
Kumasi shoe factory.
Is somebody contract because we are not producing enough in the country, and you're not putting much resources there to get them produced enough. So we have to go and give a contract to Bernard to go and bring the shoes. If you don't look at me, when you get the contract, you do.
When you land, then I go to
You
Philemon.
see, so it is not about the selfishness and the greediness. It's about we not having the foresight to making sure that things are done in the right way.
I like that word. There's a foresight because
Yes.
the money is there.
Yes.
The money
So
is
we
there.
need to make sure that, look, let's put much resources. Yesterday, let me look, I was watching Joy. Is it Joy or one of the stations?
Joy News.
And they were showing one secondary school in the north that were talking about feeding themselves. And when you
The
look
empty
at
plate. We'll talk about it.
no, not the empty plate. When you look at the kind of farm that they have in the school, they have guinea fowl, they have sheep, they have goat, and they have also planted some vegetables and all those. In fact, my wife was like, almost all the secondary schools in Ghana have a vast land. Why don't we give them the opportunity to be doing some of these things, to feed themselves? But even those who are just having the poultry farms, would government be able to be giving them eggs and all those things? No. All what government needs is to give those materials to them, let the students do it themselves, and they will get what they want.
Okay. Let me go to Philemon. Philemon.
Hi, Roselyn. Good morning to Chief Mornarh, and good morning to Honorable Ebenezer Nartey. First of all, I must, in deference to my chief, state that I was home recently. And if you know
Sorry that you were begging.
yes, I'm just saying.
Defend yourself.
And if you know, in the Beam Over custom, it is the Naniks. We, my clan, we are the primus inter pares. So I was home. My uncle is actually the Nani, and my father's younger brother. So he was led by my other brothers in color to the Danjur. I missed this year's Danjur and I regret it. But I intend to make amends. I intend to be there next year. I intend to be available to my people as I have been over the years. And Chief Mornarh has been a pillar, the youth chief of my people. So in deference to Chief, I am sorry I couldn't make it this year. But next year, I'll be there. Hopefully, John Mahama, the flag bearer of our party, would have been president. And I believe that by the grace of
I am
God...
sitting here. You are not seeing me as
But
president.
Mornarh is a presidential candidate. Too.
No, really, I really... No.
Watching me. Campaign manager. I'm sitting here.
No, Chief, you know, I wish Chief the very best. And Chief understands that for us, we believe in diversity. As much as I wish Chief well, there are a significant number of our people who wish and support him well. I also wish him well, but in principle, I am already on the ticket of the NDC.
Okay.
And I wish my candidate well, but I also wish Chief well. You get the point. So there's one famous quote by Nkrumah that I live by. Nkrumah said that we face neither east nor west. We face forward. Nkrumah said these words during the Cold War, and he said this to emphasize the fact that Ghana did not belong to either the East, led by Russia, or the West, by America and the other Bretton Woods, the other European countries. But also you can interpret this to mean that we look only for what gives us progress. And that was the foundation of Nkrumah's government. Nkrumah wanted betterment for our people. Nkrumah believed in truthfulness. He never lied to the people of Ghana. He said it as it was.
Chief is talking.
Nkrumah never believed in sloganeering. For the various factories and industries that Nkrumah set up, never did Nkrumah come out to say issues of one district, one factory, one constituency, 1 million Ghana cedis. One constituency. He did not believe in sloganeering. All Nkrumah believed in was action. He was a man of thought and a man of action. And I think those are tenets that we can adopt as modern-day politicians and leaders of our country. We must depart from the situation of over-promising and delivering very little. That's the foundation of what we can learn from Nkrumah. For me, I regret that this country has departed significantly from what Nkrumah started. But of course, in that departure, you can also see that some governments have been have been better at sticking to Nkrumah's principles than others.
Which is?
I mean, it's obvious that the NDC has significantly propounded some of the, and then perpetuated some of the principles.
We are looking at a factory.
But the fact of the matter
is
that...
a factory that was shut in 1980. NDC was in power. PNDC came to power. NDC came to power.
Yeah.
The Bonsa Thai factory was never revived.
Yes, but the fact is that we have been speaking about the issue of the shoe factory in Kumasi, which was run by the NDC.
Well,
I'm looking out for one that the MPP can talk about and trumpet as one of
they
the
will
achievements.
tell you that the shoe factory is under one district.
But that is, of course, we just interrogated and it's obvious that that's not true because that was a record of the NDC government. That is a record of the NDC government and not of the MPP. I am sure that the MPP cannot state one factory by Nkrumah that they have revamped. You see, he's making the point that it may be too expensive and difficult to set up. No. These factories have buildings. So the issue of infrastructure is ready. So your investment in infrastructure is going to be way little than going to start up a supposed new industry. A supposed new industry. So I think that the commitment to continuing the trajectory of Nkrumah is what both governments must stick to. Both governments must
I'm looking at a Bonsa Thai factory that if it's revived, this is what will happen. It has a capacity of producing 1,500 ties a day. So it can produce 420,000 ties per annum.
Yes, I get the point. You see, the MPP has made the argument time without number that the growth rate of the economy has been high during the, even though every economic metric shows that it doesn't. It's when there's growth in your economy, there should be a corresponding increase in employment. There must be significant exchange rate. The exchange rate must be good enough. Inflation must be tackled. When you look at these three metrics and assess it by the output of this government over the last 7 years, almost 8 years, it will tell you that the growth rate of this country has been way little, even though they came on the back of the promise that they were going to industrialize and depart Ghana from being an importing nation to an exporting nation. But when you look at the World Bank data, it tells you that Ghana's importation ratio has increased significantly over the last 7 years. Had we stuck to the principles of Nkrumah,
is that not what the trade minister says he's going to put some sort of regulation on imported goods?
That is Katie Hammond in her 7th year of government. You know, we made that argument last week. That's Katie Hammond's supposed approach to one. But I mean, that's like an overflagged horse. Katie Hammond can't do anything in the 7th year of government. I made the case last year that if you want to restrict the importation of particular produce, you must make sure that there's local sufficiency. I made the example again of rice. Now, if Katie Hammond, for example, wants to say he wants to give the importation of rice to Honorable Nartey, that means that we must have if he wants to ban the importation of rice, that means we must have sufficient supply of rice in Ghana. Otherwise, if you ban it, we won't have enough rice in Ghana.
No, there was no... I think Roselyn must be corrected. It was not to ban the importation of
I didn't say restrict.
It was not to restrict. It was to restrict the number of importers.
Yes.
And that every importer of those produce must come through the ministry for certification and licensing.
But it's still restriction.
So that if the thing was open for all of us to go and bring in, now I have to go to the ministry for the ministry to decide that, no, I'm not qualified, but Eben is qualified.
Because he's an MPP.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
That is what it all means. It is not that we are going to reduce the quantity or the quantum of rice imported into this country, or quantity of, what do they call it?
Oil.
The intestines and the accoutrement. Isn't this scandalous?
Yeah, so be that.
Well, so it was a restriction, though.
Yeah. But you see, the fact is that the MPP came on the back of industrialization, and that was a major campaign policy. So for 7 years, their record on industrialization has been zilch. Because you look at the import substitution, the balance of payment deficit that Chief Mornarh referenced, had we been exporting more than importing, we would have had a positive balance of payment. But unfortunately, over the last 7 years, most of our balance of payment has been deficit. So it speaks to the inefficiency, the failed promise of this MPP government by Bawumia and Nanado to ensure that we are exporting more than we are importing. Nkrumah believed that Ghana should be self-sufficient. And part of being self-sufficient is to ensure that the beads you wear must be made in Ghana and not imported from China. And that the fabrics of our kaftans should be made right here in Ghana for local consumption.
You know, talking about the fabrics, I'm looking at the number of public schools that we have that wear. What?
If you remember,
what do you call the uniform, the fabric? Tea and bread.
Tea and bread, yeah, tea and bread.
Tea and bread.
But there are now so many private schools who have different kinds of fabric.
But it can be produced by ATL,
which is one of the investments of the NDC.
But
even Japon.
That uniform is being produced by
they bring some from China.
So most of it is from China.
From China. If you go to Accra,
from China.
Plenty from China.
Yeah.
But most of them also prints from ATL. I know ATL prints.
Which I disagree, though.
Yeah.
Why don't we localize the production?
That's the point.
Of the school. Yes, when I mean localization.
No, but you cannot stop the people from...
I'm saying that what prevents schools from using this?
Okay.
Because this fabric can be used and it's more durable, right?
Now this fabric is heavy. How do you wear it to school?
No, but not in this form.
You can use this one for Friday wear.
No, we can actually cut this and use it.
Exactly.
Look, they have the sewed version of this material.
Yeah.
You understand? They have various versions. The women is not this type. You know how it is. So you can actually customize it. There is the light material and then there is the heavy material. So if you really want to do it for some schools, you have this Weavers Association. You just give them an instruction that you want this particular type of color and this particular texture, and they will do it for you. And that will last longer. And it will resonate with the people's growing up, that in growing up, they must be used to wearing local apparels so that it doesn't come in March where you compel us to be wearing Ghana apparels.
Exactly. So adding to that, and that's why the NDC's investment in the local fabric sector was very monumental. If you remember, there was massive investment in the north. We set up a lot of groups, women groups, set them up with machinery such that they could produce fabrics of the fubu.
What happened to that?
It's running. It is running. Go to the Damango area. It is happening. The Savannah region. Most of these women groups have been equipped. And they were equipped under the NDC government. And that's why these days you see several people wearing smokes around. And that's their local initiative.
Under the MPP government, we saw the evolution of Friday where everybody had to wear African print. We saw it happening.
That cannot be credited to the MPP. That cannot.
It was under President Kufuor.
No, you see, that cannot be credited.
Why can't it?
Well, you see, never. You see, when we are talking about this country, we have seen that one government and Nana Addo Mbawumia have sunk this country so low. So when we are talking about MPP records,
but
you must distinguish between a Kufuor record and a Nana Addo record, because Nana Addo or Mbawumia cannot benefit from they cannot benefit from the achievements.
You can do
they cannot benefit from the achievements of Kufuor. I haven't mentioned Rawlings here.
But you can do Rawlings.
I've not mentioned Rawlings. I'm talking about Mahama.
But when we spoke about the shoe factory, you said it was under NDC. And it was under Atamils.
The last 8 years of the NDC is what we are comparing with these 8 years of the MPP.
Okay.
And the last 8 years of the NDC was Mills Mahama. Okay. It wasn't just Mahama.
Okay.
You get the point.
All
so
right.
the comparison is fair.
Okay.
But fundamentally, I think that it's important that governments stick to principle and are truthful to their people. Enough of the sloganeering. Nkrumah never believed in sloganeering. Nkrumah believed that the people of Ghana deserve respect and decency, and that we deserve the very best. See the Tema motorway. See the Tema port.
I saw the Tema motorway.
In fact, one very important one you must also realize is that apart from industries, Nkrumah also built universities. Which government, after Nkrumah, has perpetuated the record of building universities, if not the NDC? Okay. The NPP has no record in building even one university.
Really?
One. Mention. Tell me one university the NPP has built. So basically, I think that's important for us to continue on the trajectory of Nkrumah and lead a path that leads to the betterment of our people.
Okay. Let's hear your voices as well. Sending your messages to us. What do you think can be done by a government to revive these companies? And these companies would have employed thousands of people. In fact, hundreds of thousands of people. Looking at the number of companies we are talking about. There's the Bonsa Tie factory. There's the Kumasi shoe factory. There is there's the ATL. That's Akosumbo Textiles. There is a Gihok. Gihok is alive though. So Wenchi Tomato Factory,
Balgatanga Meat Factory.
So many factories. If we should revive these factories, we can assure you that, in fact, across Ghana, will reduce unemployment. That is a fact. But can that be revived? Can these factories be revived? Let's see what will happen. Let's hear your voices as well. Let's move on to our next conversation, and it happens to be the empty plate. School feeding has been a thing since the era of President Kufuor, and we know that they have fed students in school. Currently, it's been facing some challenges, and we had a documentary that was done in-house. I want you to take a look at the documentary. Actually, okay, so we'll just talk about it. What it is that when you go out there and you have a conversation with some of the students in the schools, they will tell you how they are being fed. One student actually did mention that it's only Fridays that they have bread with their breakfast. And so he goes to the pantry only on Fridays, or should I say the dining hall only on Fridays, because he knows that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, there's no bread to accompany his breakfast, so there's no need for him to go. There's another lady who spoke that they have sometimes one egg, sometimes no egg at all, sometimes they have to share egg. Take a look at this video, and then when we come back, we'll have this discussion.
Senior high school has come under criticism recently, especially with the food served to students. The quality of the food and the amount of food served to students have become a topical issue. But the Education Ministry says they are working at improving things. Here is the Ministry of Education's Public Relations Officer.
At every point, you should understand that you may not necessarily have a perfect system. You have a system that is being run with a human hands in it. So there may be some challenges in terms of distributional challenges, in terms of storage challenges. But your duty as leadership is that when these challenges come, you go in and resolve it. I think we have to situate it in a very proper context. What is that very proper context? If you look at buffer stock, their distribution chain, at every point they are supposed to send about 18 food items. In between the 18 food items and even GCX, you may have a school with supplies of about 17 food items. I mean, let's even narrow it down to our various homes. You may have Milo, you may have milk, you may have sugar, you may have plantain, but you may not have beans. It does not necessarily mean that you are unable to cook. But maybe within the preferred choice of food that you want to cook, that is where you may have a difficulty. But of course, what do you do as a parent or as the owner of the house? Quickly, you have to intervene. And when there are those challenges, you go in and resolve it. I mean, these children are not children from a different continent. They are our own children. They are our own brothers and sisters. So our biggest priority is to make sure that they are being fed morning, afternoon, evening.
At the Labone Senior High School, the students tell me that although they are given breakfast, lunch, and supper every day, it is not always that the food is balanced.
There are slight instances where it's not balanced. It's just once a while. But then I think we would need more of the balancing of the food. There may be instances where they are not balanced foods, but then sometimes I think we would need, maybe when we are taking water, we will need egg to each person. But then now it's no more. So we pray, we are hoping that they bring it back. But then for the rest, we think it's okay. We'll manage.
The Education Ministry took us on a tour to 3 secondary schools in the Greater Accra region: St. Thomas Aquinas, Presbyterian Boys Secondary School, and Labone Senior High School. And in these schools, the students say that although they are fed all the time, that usually their breakfast, which is predominantly liquid, comes without bread. And on some occasions, they have bread to add to it. What was for breakfast this morning?
Okay, we had Tom Brown with bread. Tom Brown and bread.
And does it always come with bread, your breakfast?
Nah, it's not always. Just sometimes, but not always. Yeah.
So how often does it come without bread?
Yeah, very often. Yeah. Yeah, I think Fridays that we get bread. Yeah.
Throughout the week, it's only Fridays that you have breakfast with bread.
Yeah.
Usually, it's without bread.
Yeah, we don't get bread all the time. Just Fridays. So most of the times, me personally, I come Fridays because I like that.
Because there's bread.
Yeah, the bread on Fridays. Yeah.
Not long ago, Africa Education Watch advised government to allow parents who have their wards in boarding school to pay for the free senior high school. The National Democratic Congress, NDC, has also said that they will review the free senior high school should they win power come December. But the question is, will that review ever happen? Time will tell. From Presec, Legon, Kenneth Jesse for Joy News.
So this is the documentary on the empty plate. You've seen it. You've heard from the students. However, Ministry of Education also released a statement to let us understand what really it is. And in their statement, I'll just summarize it a little bit for you. So the Ministry of Education, in response to a recent documentary by Joy News highlighting concerns about poor feeding and irregular food supply in senior schools, embarked on a comprehensive nationwide visitation and monitoring exercise in collaboration with the media. So they did this together with us. The objective was to gain a fair understanding of the issues raised and address them appropriately if found to be valid. Yes. Contrary to the narrative portrayed in the documentary mentioned above, our visitation revealed the following key findings. Number one, schools visited and reports from other schools indicated the maintenance of an adequate stock of food in their storage facilities. Two, there is prompt and up-to-date payment of funds allocated for the purchase of perishable food items to all schools. Number three, feedback from heads of schools and students indicates overall satisfaction with the quality and quantity of food being served. So they are telling us that it is not what is being portrayed. Ministry of Education says, watch the video you saw. That's not what it is. It's different. I don't know what's different. When you hear the horse tell you that when I drank from the river was salty, and somebody standing on the side says, no, the river is not salty. It's actually very tasty. You ask yourself a lot of questions. Let me ask Bernard Mornarh his take on it.
I pity my brother Kwesi Kwarteng because he is compelled to come and defend because he has to be paid. But surely, this is not photo evidence. This is video evidence, where we can see the people talking, we can see the food and quality of food. I saw the expression in your face when what appears to be the sumptuous of the food that they will eat, the rice, was shown. You said, look at the rice. I saw that expression. And somebody comes to say that, no, contrary to what you are watching, that is not it. These schools that they have listed are not out of Accra schools. In fact, they are the elite schools.
Yeah.
Presec.
Grade A.
Right? Yeah. Aquinas.
Labone second.
Labone. What are you talking about? These are Ivy schools. They are on top of the ladder of the well-catered for schools. I'm not talking about Sombo Secondary. Or I am not talking about Garu Secondary. I am not in any way talking about Laura Secondary that are in the forgotten part of this country. We are talking about a documentary in a greater Accra telling us the quality of the food. Here, they even have luxury to get bread. In some of the communities, bread bakers don't exist. And they get bread only on Friday.
And egg. Sometimes they have to share egg. One egg.
I mean, it's non-existent. That is the pretentiousness with which we want to get quality education. So, there was a time Dr. Benjamin Kumbo, he made a very profound statement that whilst he was at the Ministry of Health, there were many people who came to him to help them to get protocol admissions into nursing and medical schools. And when he was not doing it, people were fighting him. But he was worried that anybody that was not qualified to do medicine or any of the courses related to health should not be granted the opportunity to go and do it. Because you take somebody, you know that the person doesn't understand A from B. You say the person should go and be a nurse. They get there through funny means. is not external, right? It's internal. They pass them. The person is qualified to be a nurse. And you, Eben, you are the one who facilitated this person that we say in Twi language, wabong. The person is a nurse, then you are on admission, unconscious. At the time you open your eyes, it is that dunderhead of a nurse that is standing by you to give you an injection. From your heart, won't you die before the injection comes? So it is the same thing that we pretend that we are giving people education, and we are not giving them education. We are merely passing them through. Just go through, right? And you get through. You come out and the education has not gone through you. So we are not able to logically apply anything. In the worst case, we only memorize. Because you have gone to school, the food that they are giving you will actually take away your senses. You are worried about the food you are going to eat. Government pretends that we are giving them food. And in the course of this, some people are making huge sums of money. It's not that government is not paying, no.
Yeah, that's what they said. They said they've paid.
Government is paying.
Yes, government has paid. All up-to-date payments.
But some Kululu,
paid.
you know Kululu? Some Kululu is going on. So government assigned a contractor, supplied the school, the school headmaster, the school this and this, the people, they Kululu. And so everybody takes a share. And what is delivered to be used for the students does not meet the eye. That is the challenge we face. If you say government is not paying, we will be doing a discredit to ourselves. Go and check the amount of money government pays. But monitoring, in fact, who is going to monitor? Because the person going to monitor, he himself is compromised along the line. And so that is the major challenge, that honesty, sincerity, and dedication to the cause of our nation is totally out. And so everybody wants to make money. How you make the money? Go and supply shoddy things. Why? After all, who will come and talk about it? And that is why we must commend multimedia for exposing these kind of things, for all of us to know that. And I'm happy for one thing Kwesi Kwarteng said. He said, why? These are not people from another continent. I didn't think probably he should use that continent. They are not from another, what do we call it? They are not animals. These are our own children. Even our animals, we want to take good care of them so that they will look good.
How much more are humans?
Do you understand? Then you go and do this. These are our own. And these are the people that we want that tomorrow, they should come and take what we are doing today. And you treat them this manner. This is ugly for our future.
Eben, why can't we just allow the parents to do the payment or feeding of their children, rather than, especially if it's going to be difficult to give them good food, rather than taking on this burden and struggling to achieve it?
Roselyn, it is not about we asking parents to pay. I'm reliably informed that as of today, as I'm speaking with you, almost all the secondary schools that we have in this country have been provided with food.
On paper?
Not on paper.
But the children are not being fed the right food. Is that what it is?
You see, Joy News, yes, they have listened to one side of the people in the school. You have interviewed the students, telling you what they are experiencing. The next group of people should be the head teacher or the matrons, for them to also tell you their side of the story.
Which is the side? If I'm the consumer and I'm telling you what I consume, whose side am I supposed to listen to? Should I go and talk to somebody who is a non-consumer?
So if government have provided 1,000 eggs to Laboni Secondary School, and the head teacher or the matrons refuse to give them the eggs, you blame government for that. Have you not been seeing on the social media where matrons and head teachers are taking foodstuffs in their cars going to sell in the market?
So now it's an eye-opener for the Ministry of Education to hold these schools responsible.
So Joy FM needs to look and also go further and ask the head teacher.
What do you want us to ask the head teacher?
I have been in your school. This is the complaint of the students, that when you give us Tom Brown, there's no sugar. Do government provide you with sugar? No. Yes. But definitely.
Okay, let me ask you this.
All of us.
I just want to know, Eben.
Yes.
For me, this is supposed to be something that if Ministry of Education is saying that they have done all these payments and they've given schools every provision that they need, it's supposed to be they telling multimedia, we are happy you have brought this to our doorstep, because now we can investigate and go to the schools and ask the responsible head teachers that what did you do with the food items we gave to you? Not being that we are rather bringing you down, but rather for you to go to the people that you gave it to, because the students, you didn't give it to the students, obviously.
Roselyn.
Yes.
As a good journalism, you have been to the school. The students don't take care of themselves. They are being brought and somebody is taking care of them. If you come to my house and my son or my daughter is crying, you ask him the reason why he or she is crying. Mommy beats me, daddy beats you. Definitely when you see, oh, why did you beat this guy? Won't you do that? So if you have been to the school and you are being told by the students that yes, on Friday they only give us bread. As for the eggs, we take once a month or once every 2 months, or we don't even get anything at all. The other point is to go to the head, because he's the head of the school.
But what about the provider?
The head will tell whether the provider have provided thing to them or not.
So you're saying that for what Ministry of Education is saying and from what Joy is saying, we should hold on to it until we speak to the
I'm not saying that you should hold on. What I'm saying is that the very day they went to the school in the morning to do that interview, the next point is to go to the head teacher or whoever is responsible of the school and ask him, we have garnered this interview. These are the complaint of the student. Is the government refusing to give you food? Yes or no?
But government says
so if government is providing you the food, why are you not also giving the children what government has been giving to you? Then we'll know the truth. It might be that the things are there, and as I've told you, you cannot tell me that you have not been seeing this on the social media, where teachers...
I think that we have seen videos of teachers, some head mistresses, some headmasters, take some of the food items.
That is why you need to interview them in addition. Maybe by interview them, it can also help. No.
It's very difficult for them to speak. We have had experience of some head teachers that we spoke to on air, and they were victimized.
Exactly.
In what way?
They were.
In what way?
Some were transferred, some were put on suspension. We have had experience. Personally, I spoke to a head teacher from the north, live on Joy Prime Morning, and that head teacher was victimized. It was to do with no beds in schools. Yes. So they don't speak to us when we go.
For this, I don't agree with you.
And I'm not lying. I'm on live television.
No. You are the head. So are you telling me that Joy FM went to Laboni or Pesek and he started interviewing them without the permission of the school authorities?
They will give you permission, but they will not put their faces on camera. So after you have
interviewed them and they have told you their side, look, there's no child that will be so satisfied with whatever he or she will be given to, even in our various homes, will not even be satisfied. So that is why you need to find out.
No, I don't agree with you, because we saw a video evidence. It's not about a child not being satisfied. For that, I don't agree with you.
That is why I'm saying that.
Because you give me
also
bread.
Need to find out for the one who is in charge. That we just interviewed some students at the dining hall. They are saying that you give them breakfast in the morning without bread. You only give them bread on Friday. Is it that government is not giving you what you expected? Or is it that you have been giving and you are refusing to give the children? Or government have given to you and it is not enough?
Okay.
What is the population of the school? We have 2,000 students. And these 2,000 students, this is what government gives us. So when Joy FM is coming out, it can come out and say that, yes, we have 5,000 students at Laboni Secondary School. Instead of government to give them 5,000 bags of rice Government give them 2 bags, so it is not enough for them.
Government is telling us they are giving everything.
That is why I'm saying you should have asked them. You should have asked the teachers as well. The government is telling you that from my side, I have done.
So if they tell us that they shot...
Yes,
so
if I've given the thing to you,
yes.
Why are you refusing to give to the children?
No, my point is, if they should go to the head teachers and the head teachers tell them that, no, you didn't give me enough bread, what will happen?
Then you report it.
To who? But government
just as they have shown it. You saw it that, look, they are supposed
and then the
to
person
be
will be
giving
victimized
bread,
with
but government has refused to give it. So when you come out with this statement, then we can tell them, no, the information that you are giving is wrong.
Eben, there is video evidence of the food that has been served.
Roselyn.
We have told government
and if you are
talking about the same video,
if you have a responsible government, the government should go to the school and say that we have
I gave it to you. What did you do with it?
If you are talking about the same video, that one guy from Pesek is saying that, yes, we are being given bread. We are going to eat Tom Brown and bread. The same video that you are showing.
But he said it's Fridays.
That's why I'm saying that, yes, it's right. That's why I'm saying that you need to find out from the person. This statement is saying that government said, I've provided the things to them. So what is stopping you of giving the things to the children? So maybe the thing that government is giving, it is not enough. Our population is 1,000. Government give us 300 people. We can only feed 300 people. So therefore, the 300 things that government brought, we share to the 1,000 people. Then you can hold government responsible.
No, I think government should be appreciative of this particular documentary or this particular
But who said government is not appreciative?
No, so that government will say that, because if government is telling us that they have given everything to the schools, now government must be able to hold the head teachers responsible. Because there's a video evidence of us knowing that the foods that are being served to these children are not good or of good quality, and more of, it's not even well balanced. And so government, you have given money, or you have paid, or you have made sure that you are giving the children the right food. It goes into somebody's hands. Hold the person responsible.
No. So in government statement, in the statement from the Ministry of Education, have they said something bad against Joy FM?
No, I'm saying that they should hold the school responsible. So I'm expecting them to say that they are going to the schools to hold them responsible for feeding the children malnourished food.
And then you come back and say that government, the people are being victimized.
How are you being victimized here?
You said you interviewed somebody about beds.
Victimization is different. Victimization.
No, because if government...
You let me go to Philemon. I've been on you for a very long time.
If the Minister for Education moved to Labone right now, and he said, look, this is what was showed on Joy FM. You have all the things. Why have you refused to give the things to the children? And you have no any explanation.
That is what is supposed
and then
to
the person is being sacked. The same will come and sit here and we'll talk about it.
That's not victimization. Oh, really? You did not do your work well. So you will be held accountable for it.
We can use these 3 schools as a scapegoat.
Yes.
Thank you.
It should be.
All right.
That's what's supposed to
happen. And I hope when the ministry does that, you applaud the ministry for doing that. All right.
We will. Because nobody has been victimized. Work has been done.
Oh, no, I just want to know.
Philemon.
Because next people come here. And there will be evidence for that.
Please go ahead.
Right.
We want to hear that.
The minister has already responded.
I think that the media should be protected, especially when they are doing very important, playing their responsibility as a watchdog in society. I must applaud Joy FM for such brilliant... This is not the first time that this matter has come up. It has come up variously. Other media houses have also worked on it. So for the government to sit aloof and say, oh, it's not true, I think that one important thing, we cannot use the children of Ghana as pawns for someone's vice presidential ambition. Because someone wants to be vice president, he wants to paint a good picture of how the Ministry of Education is doing. When in actual fact, we know the Ministry of Education is failing. Free SHS is in tatters.
They'll come and beat you.
Oh.
Those who are enjoying...
We already know. We already know they storm studios and beat people. That we know. We have seen the worst of this government. They send their attack dogs into studios. So I will not be surprised.
It was in the past.
I will not be surprised if they send attack dogs from this morning. I will not be surprised. I will not be surprised. See this intangential matter he's talking about. Intangential.
So you are talking about...
So I will not be surprised. I will not be surprised. I will not be surprised when I go downstairs going to open something and then I will be attacked.
Nobody.
I know, they have done it before.
They won't come.
But I see the fact of the matter is...
But if they did
Please continue.
The fact of the matter is that, you see, this is a very important conversation we must have. I went to a school in the north, and I can tell you that in my time in secondary school, around 2006, 2007, thereabout, there were several times that schools had to close because we didn't get feeding grants. So this is an issue that has existed for a long period of time. And I'm sad that a government that comes with a flagship policy of free SHS is faced with this problem. When we say we'll review free SHS to make it much more practicable and done well, they say we mean cancellation. John Mahama has stated that in the event of victory by the grace of God and the people of this country, we shall ensure that this policy of free SHS is revived, is reviewed, such that this conundrum is not witnessed by the people of this country. You see, the government makes the lame excuse that they provide everything the children need in school. That cannot be true. It cannot be true. You look at the issue of equity. How many children in Bunkrugu Secondary Technical School are fed with eggs in the last 4 years? And I can tell you, none.
In the last
on authority. Hey. On authority, you can check. Send your men.
Really?
Send your men. You look at the production of eggs in this country, for example. The production of eggs.
Mm-hmm.
There's a shortfall.
You say which secondary school?
There's a short. I said Bunkrugu Secondary Technical. Check it out. Go to Nalergu Secondary School. They are not fed eggs.
4 years.
They are not fed eggs. You see, there's a shortfall of 162,129 metric tons in chicken in this country. There's already a shortfall. How are you able to now give the children in these schools chicken? Mm-hmm. See how the poultry sector has become in this country. Feed is so expensive that most poultry farms have closed down. So poultry farmers in this country are not even able to produce eggs for, let's say, even 20% of the market in this country. So how then will you be able to provide eggs for children in our schools to be fed with? So to come out and say that you have provided everything for the children in the various schools to be fed cannot be true.
Okay.
It just cannot be true. I think the children of this country deserve some respect and some dignity. That's why we believe that free SHS should be really looked at. It should be. Because raising children with such indignity is slapping your own faces. We have said time without number. That's important for us to ensure. You see, even on the issue, Tempane Secondary School, there are several schools, I can list them. Tempane Secondary School, even Navrongo Secondary School. Go there and see how many times they get eggs to eat. When was the last time they got eggs to eat? So, we shall not sacrifice the children of this country on the altar of someone's vice presidential ambition. The children of Ghana deserve more and better than the vice presidential ambition of Dr. Ejuchum. To my good friend Kwesi Kwarteng, I know your job is difficult, but I think that you would be doing the great people of this country a great deal of service if you are truthful, rather than coming out with such a statement that is as empty and hollow as the gates to hell.
Anyway, it's quite interesting. Have you sent in your messages? We can't wait to hear from you this morning. Sending your messages. We've spoken about the factories that are just dormant, doing nothing, which could have employed over tens of thousands of young Ghanaians. We hope that it will be revived, and these factories were created by Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Let's see what the future holds. And we've also spoken about the empty plate. We have another conversation that we want to quickly touch on, and it's to do with the second lady, how she's actually helping the fashion and beauty industry. I want you to take a look at this video, and when we come back, my guest will touch on it, and then I can go ahead and read some comments. All right, so for the second lady, I don't know if I have some comments. I would have read the comments, but for what the second lady is doing, let me see what we have. Okay, I have one comment, and I move on to the second lady. Good morning. Tell the MPP man that Baumia said they have an internet tracker that can get those who steal school food. Where is it? This coming from McDonald Corps, Tongo in Cape Coast. Okay, so I don't know. Anyway. So we don't know where the tracker is. So those who are stealing the school food will continue stealing. Anyway, so let's look at the contribution of the second lady towards the fashion and beauty industry. We know that there's been a lot of growth in the fashion and beauty industry in recent times. So back in the day, fashion and beauty used to be for people that, quote unquote, they claim were not ready to further their education or were not too intelligent in school. But currently, we are seeing graduates, and we are even seeing seeing people with their masters go into fashion and beauty industry. It's a very booming industry, and people are making millions of Ghana cedis in this industry. First Lady has given her contribution to that industry. Bernard, what do you think about it?
Second Lady of
Second Lady, sorry. Second Lady, Samira Baumia.
But thank you for endorsing her to be First Lady. Thank you very much.
I did endorse, so please. You people should not come and put anything in my mouth. I beg.
To put to endorse. And we tell
I
you,
beg.
we are not endorsing First Lady. Oh, no.
It was a mistake, please.
Just retract
Anyway,
it.
so I've
what is
retracted.
wrong?
It's the Second Lady, Samira Baumia. Bernard.
Well, under the circumstances in the New Patriotic Party, Baumia is the leader of the party, and the wife of the leader of the party is their First Lady within the New Patriotic Party. If it's in that sense, Eben is speaking, then I have no difficulty. But to say that she is First Lady of Ghana, it will still take her some time. That is, if it will ever come.
A year by this time.
Well, so first...
And you wish that she should be the First Lady next year. It is your wish.
When Roselyn is sitting here.
You get trouble one day.
When Roselyn is sitting here. Be careful what you say. First, I think that it's important to situate the argument that there is no cause that is inferior to the other, and that every profession matters, and that every one of us and what we do, we complement each other's efforts.
Right.
The work the lawyer is doing cannot be subservient to the work a doctor is doing. And the work a doctor is doing cannot be subservient to the work the farmer is doing.
Absolutely.
And the work the farmer is doing cannot be subservient to the work the mechanic is doing. And so you see that we interdepend. And of course, what we are doing this morning cannot be subservient to what the cocoa seller is doing. Because everything that we do, expanding of knowledge, contributing ideas, and sharing views, sometimes, and I say this, sometimes I'm being over-hustled. But people don't know that there are people who are watching and they are very angry about some of the rot that is going on in our society. And all of a sudden, they see that somebody is also sharing the same opinion and is speaking about them. So when you finish your show, they said, Bernard, you have calmed me down. Do you know what that anger would have translated on or to? Because if somebody did not speak for them, before you realize a minister or some appointee of government will be going and then a slap, pie. But because you have spoken about those issues, people feel that after all, they are not the only people that are feeling the rot that is going on. And so within the fashion industry, the hospitality industry, I think that they've played an enormous role. Look, sometimes in your weak moments, it takes a song, some music, right, to wake you up and to say, Kai, I can drive on, I can push on.
Sigina.
Do you understand? You feel that everything is gone. Then
sometimes you need a glass of water.
You understand? And maybe I could teach yourself.
You know what the Second Lady is actually doing is to help promote Wear Ghana. And we know she's an ambassador to that because she always wears Ghana. Oh, but she always wears Ghana.
I'm not an ambassador because I'm not a first lady. And when I become the first gentleman, you will know. Then you will go and take the archive and know that I have always promoted my apparel.
So this is what she's doing. She's actually
when I say
pushing for.
You say that's not what you said, but you have repeated again.
I said
the first lady.
I said
First lady of the NPP.
I said second lady.
You said first lady.
I said second lady. I said the second lady.
No, there can be slip of mouth, not tongue.
Anyway, but when you are done, then I can go to because we don't have enough time.
I think that is commendable.
Okay.
That persons of a certain pedigree will be seen directly to be promoting our made and wear in Ghana. It was around the same time last year that Kamala Harris came to Ghana. Remember? Ghana Month. And then the vice president, the leader of the New Patriotic Party, went to the airport to go and welcome Kamala Harris in a suit.
His wife wears
So let the vice president.
His wife was.
Let the vice president learn from my sister.
His wife. Anyway, Evan, just quickly, so that we just like 2 minutes. I have so many messages to read.
Roselyn, to start from where Bernard ends, we can all bear witness that the vice president really well instituted. And I mean, there's no news.
So we are pushing where Ghana.
Yes. So his advice well taken. I will inform him that he said he should start putting on a local club. But Roselyn, let me applaud the second lady for this good initiative. You see, these are some of the things that we'll be expecting from first and second lady. If you remember, during the Nana Akufo-Addo's administration, things that she did in respect of education, in respect of women training, that's where they have the 31st December women movement with their, that's your cap that you'll be wearing, the red one. They also have, in fact, there's a school at Dansoma's Net Flat that belongs to 31st December.
Yeah.
And you see, these are some of the things that you are supposed to do. And I mean, you can see the difference between first ladies and second ladies when it comes to promoting and then supporting their husband in diverse way in promoting this country or bringing development at the doorsteps of the people. I remember during Akufo-Addo's time, they have a place that they do farming, and then they produce gari and other things. And sometimes when it's being sold, then you see the motivation from the women. I am of the belief that with what the second lady is doing and supporting and promoting the Friday and faction, you see, many people have the mindset that, look, if your mother or your father asks you to go and learn how to sew, meaning that wabon, meaning that you don't know anything. But I can tell you today, the money that is into fashion today, now
there's a lot of money in there.
Now they don't want you to be called them seamstress. No, they are all fashion designers.
Anyway, let me go to Philemon.
So I applaud my second lady.
Okay.
And this is what I'm expecting from a second lady and then a first lady, just as the Rebecca Foundation too is doing.
Okay.
But not to go and buy pan to be given to some people to...
Please, Philemon, 1 minute, please. So many messages.
Yes, the sages.
Today they will beat me.
If you read the 48 Laws of Power, Rule 1, it says never outshine your master. Never outshine your master. We have seen how the second lady has, time without number, sought to portray herself as the first lady of this country when her husband has not even been, even before her husband was elected flag bearer of the party. We have seen it. We have seen stuff like that.
Something good. Can we just?
I am making my point. Let me finish the point. You gave 1 minute, so I need to finish it up quickly. So I think that it's important for us to heed to the very timeless principle that never outshine your master. We have seen the various investments in handbags. So much money. When there are several unemployed people in this country, you spend £32,000 to buy a handbag.
I have comments.
You spend so much on makeup. So we wish the second lady well. We hope that her commitment to the fashion industry will really be as truthful as she's been awarded. I think she should whisper into the ears of her husband that the textile industry in this country is suffering.
All right.
Fashion cannot thrive without textiles.
Okay.
Let her know. People are paying so much for electricity. They can't sew. They can't use their machines to manufacture dresses.
Okay.
When electricity bills are so high.
Let me read the
comment. She should whisper that to her husband.
Yes, boss. Good morning. So why do you think voting for John Mahama again will solve our problem when same person says free SHS wasn't feasible and can't be implemented, is now yielding results? As a result, graduates receiving international awards and scholarships through the benefits of the Akufo-Addo-Bawumia free SHS policy. If in 2016 campaign period, John Mahama and NDC told Ghanaians that free SHS was a hoax, how do you then now turn around just because you need the favor of Ghanaians to vote you into power, now saying you will come to review free SHS? Isn't it funny? I'm asking the NDC guy talked about coming to review free SHS. Let's be truthful to ourselves and leave politics aside. Abdul Aziz Jibani. Okay. Samir Boachi Asamanka say all roads lead to the eastern region of this year's Independence Day celebration. If we have somebody to blame, NDC has been deceptive and disappointment the good people of Ghana when it came to the collapse of many factories in Ghana, and NPP has done better to revamp some of the collapsed factory under the 1D, 1F policy. And NDC never again breaking the aids with Dr. Bawumia is possible. Regards to Honorable Charles Echampo of MP for Asamankese and Honorable Frank Siedu Bekoy, aka Protozoa, the next MP for Suhum. Good morning, Roselyn. The MPP panelist is delaying the argument for the fact food served is not good at all. Senior high school, Honorable Osman Cape Coast says Ghanaians must wake up against our leaders for collapsing our state institutions, Dr. Nkrumah. Okay. Students, okay, so some foods are being supplied. Most of food supply are rice and maize. Government doesn't supply eggs. As of now, no sugar, oil, no flour. Money for fees perishable sometimes come, but recurrent money for other items such as stationery maintenance doesn't come at all. Some of the schools authorities have to use some of the perishable monies to buy stationery, board marker, etc. Another big problem we are facing is inadequate supply of furniture. That's beds, tables and chairs, dining hall tables. Students will receive inadequate meals because the food supply are inadequate. So if care is not taken, the foods finish in no time. Honorable, I think this person is an educationist because the person is speaking like he works there. Roselyn, the man is right. I witnessed a scene at Akotia Technical Institute where a matron will sell the food stuff and share amongst themselves. I was with the domestic and she received her share. Wow. So government, you have a lot of work to do because we brought you the reality. So go and investigate and hold them responsible. Good morning to you. The issue of homosexuality, gay and lesbianism, this is not our topic for today. Thank you very much. Good morning. I agree 100% with Eben. Ghanaians, we are our own enemies. The government is trying his best with his free SHS thing. Look at what they are doing. Nanama from Sakomono. Madam Nanama, say again. Anyway, tell the NPP man teachers fear for their jobs. For that reason, they will not grant any interviews. Madam Host, the head teacher's job is in your hand. Yes, a move. Good morning. I love the fact that students will complete school without the school going through them. I just hope these politicians will stop politicizing our education and speak the facts. Amagana. Good morning, Roselyn, and your panelists. We missed you people last Friday. Yes, we were here, but we did a lot. Please, have you cross-checked the production data of Gihok? Because Nanado's in-law have simply succeeded in collapsing the state-owned enterprise, and you can talk to the workers there, and I promise you will be shocked to the marrow on what you will see and hear. Rosie, since this government came into power, almost all state enterprises are operating under losses, and yet look at the amount of money pumped in them with zero outcome, and they say Neto NPP says what? Please tell the Neto NPP man that under Professor Mills and JDM, they also supported companies in the likes of multimedia, NS Chemists, etc., without slogans, as this current government is seen engaged in. What this current government is popularly known for state capturing, super corruption, disrespecting the constitution and citizenry, deceit, etc. Atiebi from Kwewu. Okay.
They supported multimedia, so we are giving money.
They gave some companies money. Good morning. There was a support. There was a support. There was a financial support. Yeah, there was a financial support. Not just multimedia, there were companies.
So what
were one of the companies.
Huh? Yours, what was it?
Good morning. I'm very disappointed in the current and former parties who came in power and couldn't continue the factories that our great father, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, built. All his strength and time was wasted. Back in school, I used to ask my teachers why the parties do not continue the factories. To put everything in order, the party in power or the next party who will be in power should continue. Nothing will happen to them. They shouldn't wait for someone to tell them to continue factories. In Ghana, when our authorities should wake up, they are asleep. Rose, a thumbs up for thumbs up for you. There are factories that are dead that could help create employment. Instead, we spend our monies on unproductive ventures. The drones idea couldn't work to fight Galamsey, but the drones were successfully carrying no medicine because Kolebu itself has no blood in Kolebu Blood Bank. If our youth will ask the right questions like Roselyn is doing this morning, the leaders will sit up. Journalists are key to forcing the leaders to do right. Patrick Accra, thank you so much. Patrick? I'll take just this one and then I'll end it because we have so many messages. Oh my God. Hi, host. We thank the speaker and his gallant men for having fortitude the pass of the anti-gay bill. No, that's not my topic for today. Thank you so much. Madam Host, the MPP under Akufo-Addo is the most corrupt and clueless government ever in the history of Ghana. The economy has been run around by Baumia as the head of the economic management team, but has now run away from the economy and claims to be championing digitalization. I am not an NDC member or sympathizer, but this government is a monumental failure, and the failure is legendary. Chelsea Champo, but he says he's not. So, all right, I think... Okay, I have to go now. So, gentlemen, I have to say a big thank you. I have so many messages. Should I read all? Okay, so let me take your final comment because I don't have the time. So, Bernard, your final comments. I'm bringing the chair forward a little bit. Your final comments.
Oh, well, I think that it's evident that Kwame Nkrumah, the founder of our nation, did everything to ensure that Ghana and Africa was self-sufficient, and that we will do away with the overdependence on other countries. He set the basis upon which our or any liberated country should grow. How we lost the script is something that we have to begin to investigate. Is it the case that the traitors and saboteurs of our national growth and agenda did not see that even when Kwame Nkrumah was talking, he was thinking about indigenizing, ensuring the growth of the local businessman? Today, when we talk about private sector investment, all that we think about is going to bring somebody to come and take our lithium concession, going to bring somebody to come and take gold concession. We are not thinking about the likes of Eben and Co, who will be able to mobilize domestically to be able to grow to become the giants in the world. That is not the kind of vision that Kwame Nkrumah had. And evidently, the collapse of these many factories that you have, I brought about this morning. I want to commend you for taking delight in going to find the problems that confront this nation so that we speak about it and find the common panacea to it.
Thank you so much, Bernard. Eben?
Roselyn, let me start from where Bernard ends. That it should not be only the factories that we'll be looking at, but we also look at things that was started by Dr. Kwame Nkrumah and his predecessors, things that they initiated, that previous governments have neglected it. And let's see how best, as a country, we will revamp some of these institutions that we have, the factories, the schools, any other thing that we believe that it will help us to grow as a country. Most of these countries that we always go to them and beg them for money, they don't come to us.
Mm-hmm. True.
What they have is what they use for the development of their people. And you see, there are some countries, I traveled to Indonesia, and I can tell you, they have nothing. All what they have is tourism, and it gives them a lot of revenue. You go to some of our tourist attraction places, and there's nothing to write home about. There are some even access to the place is a problem. Their road network are bad. As I said, over the weekend, I was in Akosobotu at Timpoku and had opportunity to be on some of the ferries and going around, and you see that this country is being blessed. What are we doing as a country? We shouldn't just, as we celebrate our 67 or 68, we need to reflect. Think about the country for a minute. I was just telling someone, look, we need, even on the 6th of March, no need even to celebrate 6th March. That even though that day is a holiday, we should all be in our rooms and reflect of this country. 67 years of existence.
Where
are we been?
Okay.
Where are we going? What is our focus? And then we can all come out and say that, look, this is the direction at which we want to go.
Anyway, thank you, Eben.
Yes, so the essence of Nkrumah's massive industrialization agenda was to bridge the balance of payment issue, where there's no deficit in balance of payment, where we don't import more than we export. But unfortunately, this government's record on that has been so bad. So the NDC comes with the promise of a 24-hour economy, such that industries will be deliberately supported, that they can produce, that they can manufacture, that we can produce and be self-sufficient, the importation of so many other products that we need in this country will be limited. The Ghanaian products and companies can be able to produce for the use of the Ghanaian people. A 24-hour economy policy is possible. You can work from 8 a.m. till 2 p.m., 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., and so 3 working schedules in a day.
Right.
And the government of the NDC by John Mahama will ensure that industries are targeted, are signed up, are supported, and they shall manufacture, and we shall reduce the balance of payment deficit that Nkrumah so eloquently, so beautifully worked.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for being here today. Yes, been great. And my guests have been Bernard Mornarh, who is PNC flag bearer. Hopefully, it will come to pass, inshallah. Ebenezer Nartey, Honorable, who represented the NPP, and lawyer Philemon Laar, who represented the NDC. This has been all for News Flash. We have other segments coming up, but the most interesting segment that's coming up next is What's Trending. You cannot miss it. My name is Roselyn Felli. Thank you so much for sending your messages. We are not done. We are going all the way to 10 a.m. So we know that you'll stick and stay with us. We love you. Stay. We'll be right back.